What does Wayzata Community Church stand for? I was asking that question long before my family moved to Minnesota, and I've asked that question many times since. Within the walls of Wayzata Community Church and with our own members, we talk a lot about grace, growth, and generosity. But for those beyond our walls, what does WCC stand for? How are we different from other organizations in our neighborhood who also happen to call themselves WCC? The differentiator is discipleship rather than mere membership. That is to say, we must always be defined and identified by our love and by our faithful following of Jesus. In these tumultuous times, however, discipleship is much too broad of an answer to the question of what we stand for. And this is a time when we do well to return to the foundations of our faith and to the fabric of our community, the core of our beliefs. So let me give you just a few things that Wayzata Community Church stands for as a congregation affiliated with the United Church of Christ. First, we are covenantal. That means that we are in relationship with one another by choice. We are in this together. But just as the national office of the United Church of Christ only speaks to and not for local congregations like ours, so we, as the local church, only speak to and not for you as individual members. We are bound by covenant, not by contract. Second, we are a non-creedal tradition. That means we do not have to assent to an agreed-upon doctrine or dogma. Unlike other traditions where uniformity of belief is expressed by rote phraseology, we don't tell you what you have to say or sing or pray in order to belong, whether in the context of worship or having coffee down by the lake. You will not have to assent to what I believe. Conviction discernment is your work to do as an individual, just as it is for me. Third, we are a journey church. That is to say, we are as interested in the journey as we are the destination. We are comfortable with ambiguity, and we find more meaning in the search for answers than in certainty. And yet there are things we stand firmly opposed to, such as violence, bigotry, injustice, and hate in any form. Fourth, we strive to be inclusive. Our vision is to inspire the world with the inclusive love of Jesus. The word inspire means to breathe in, which is once again an example of a non-coercive community. And we see this kind of love in the life and ministry of Jesus. His love is an inclusive love. And finally, we are a united and uniting congregation. In recent years, that has meant more politically than anything. We have a wide diversity of political and social convictions here. And that can be a strength if we choose to make it so. It not only deepens us as a community, but it sends an important message to the world about how we can come together across differences rather than being driven apart because of them. Another familiar phrase for us might be helpful. We agree to differ, unite to serve, and resolve to love. Recent times have created an environment that is emotionally charged. From deep political divisions to a pandemic quarantine, and most recently, protests along racial and social lines. In the midst of a rapidly changing landscape and within an unfamiliar context with digital communication as our primary method, some messages went out from Wayzata Community Church or its leaders that have been upsetting to some of you. I offer you my personal apology as the pastoral leader of this community. We made some mistakes, and I'm sorry. All I can say is that much is being learned in this time. And when we know better, we do better. So I ask for forgiveness from those of you who may have been hurt, and from everyone I ask for grace and space. Grace that is quick to forgive and space within which we can all do our very best work. Community is still our middle name. Relationships are still the resource engine behind our mission. And personal connection is at the core of Jesus' ministry. Any loss of relationship in the midst of these trying times would only heap more grief on top of grief. So I pledge to you grace and space, and would ask the same from all of you. This moment in time, this year 2020, when everyone was hoping for a better vision for the world, has proven to be a year of great challenge. But I am absolutely convinced that it is a unique opportunity. It's an opportunity for us as individuals to learn and grow and open ourselves to the Spirit at work in us. And this is an opportunity for us as a church to be relevant and real, to be honest and open, not just essential to our members, but necessary to the healing of the world. Speaking of necessity, I've heard it said that necessity is the mother of all invention. I find that to be true in this moment. There is a necessity in our world that is calling us to be inventive and creative. We must come together as people of different faiths and no faith at all, to cross the lines that have divided us and work to heal the most wounded among us. Right now, the necessity is to heal the racial wounds inflicted across centuries and to work for racial equality and justice for all. Beneath this message is a statement from our pastoral response group made up of clergy and deacon leaders. I hope you'll take a few minutes to read it carefully, as it speaks to much more specific and immediate steps we're taking right now to engage in racial and social justice efforts. There is also a link to our statement on violence from 2018, which remains both relevant and applicable to today. Through it all, it remains our high call to care for you and for the community around us. Whether from the political divide, the pandemic, the protests, or any other points of pain in your life, if you are suffering in any way, we want to come alongside you. Please call the church or visit our website to let us know how we can best care for you. But for now, please be well and know that you are loved.